All right, part two. Changed my mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more 3-inch slab off this. I just put this one over here so you can see it. And the reason they're on blocks is because they're going to be coming to pick them up. And it's going to just make it easier to grab them with the machine. So that's that one. I'm going to take 2 more slabs off this side. What I want to do is I want to run a cut right now with the Sabertooth 7° on it, and then I'm going to swap the blades over to a Sabertooth Turbo 7 and run another cut, because they're going to both be about the same width. They're both going to be pretty much cutting through the same knots, and we'll compare the 2 finishes. Now obviously the Silvertip's going to be sharper, but I don't see any reason to roll it right now. I've got plenty of space going to the log dogs, and that Sabertooth is still cutting pretty good. So I'm going to run one more cut with the Sabertooth, swap the bands, and do a comparative cut where you can look at the 2 of them. I'll get you this side so you can see how fast I'm going. I'm trying to go what sounds to me, it's the reason I don't have any ear protection on, what sounds to me like the blades loading evenly. That's the speed that I'm trying to go. And I'm running pretty heavy water. So yeah, let's take one more 3-inch off it, and then we'll swap bands out, and we'll make another cut and see what happens. So we'll do the comparison after I get the blade switched. I'll take you over and let you look at it. It looks like it cut fairly good. It's cut pretty smooth. It made a lot of noise. There was a lot of the blade going up against the back of the guides. And there's a little bit of, there's some chatter marks in it. That bark inclusion goes way up in here now. Bark inclusion's hard as a piece of glass. That's gone on this next cut. As far as flatness goes, it's wicked flat. I mean, it's, you know, there are deviations, little teeny ones. Overall, it's really flat. So it actually did a pretty good job. I felt like I was going a little fast in the beginning, and it got a little scallopy here as I was going, and it was going up against the back guide because I was pushing a little hard on it. And then when I slowed down, it smoothed out, and it stayed pretty smooth. It got a little chattery in here. There's 2 knots sticking through, and then it went pretty smooth to these 2 knots, chattered through them, and it chattered in between. But overall, did a good job. And I mean, let me get a stick so I don't get it all over myself. Show you what's in here, show you what I'm dealing with here. This is sap. This is a straight sap pocket. It's dripping off everywhere. See if I can get that in the video. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I mean, there's these big sap pockets in there, so you know, I'm plowing through some nasty stuff. So anyway, I got enough height past my above my dog here to do one more. So let's get it down there. We'll drop it down. We'll swap out bands. We'll see what the Turbo 7 or Sharp Turbo 7 does on this thing. Now I'll get you back here so you can watch. My intuition is that the Turbo 7 is going to be a little too aggressive. That's going to be my intuition. I'm having such a time with that lately. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time doing that lately. It's really weird. I kind of had it going on for a while, and this band is still pretty sharp. So I will actually keep this in my pack to use. You can see it's fairly clean too. You know, for just running the pine saw and Dawn dish soap with all that pitch, you know, it's pretty clean. Not having any problem keeping it clean. Can you see me over there at the truck? Because I got to get a band out. Yeah, I just got to go over and get a band out. Actually, let me do this. Let me pause you until I come back. I gotta get used to pausing. I do have a little clicker thing that pauses it automatically. I should use that more. I'm gonna pause you, and now in your time I'll be back in 1 second. In my time, about 4 minutes. Okay, so ready to go. Get this band up here. Hopefully you can see this. Well, let me put you down like that. Better. So these are Woodmiser silver tip Turbo 7s. This is a brand new band, as you can tell. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on. And we'll tension it up. We'll just check the tracking quick. These, so far I haven't had any problem with tracking on these. They've been the same. And then we'll give her a rip with this one and we'll see what happens. See if we can come up with anything interesting to talk about versus just sitting here cutting. Tighten them to the same spec. Tracking. Tracking looks really good. Let's just go with it. I'm not telling you not to buy the fans from Norwood at all. Just these were really good price from Days, so I decided to try them. And that guy Nate out in the woods runs them, so I decided to try them. And they, son of a bitch. Sorry about that. I just threw that fucking thing on and checked the tracking. You didn't see it, but anyway, I'm not telling you to buy these. What I'm telling you is I got a good price on them. Nate runs them out in the woods, so I decided to try them because the price was so good. And I got them from Days Bandsaw Mills. They advertise on Facebook a lot. My intuition is telling me that they're a little too aggressive for 18 horsepower. So that's what I think. I kind of like, I think the Sabertooth blades feel, when you coil them or when you play with them, they feel more robust. This steel's different. They're a little more flimsy on the Turbo 7s. My intuition is telling me that these aren't the best for 18 horsepower. They're meant for higher horsepower. But anyway, we're going to try it. We're going to see, and we'll be able to compare. So let's go ahead and take a look at the log here, what we got. So you can see, you know, and obviously this wasn't a brand new blade, so it's not a perfect test, but you know, it cut through that pretty good for being this wide a cut. You know, this is almost maxing out the mill. I'm just barely clearing down, you know, on a bunch of spots here. So you can see the sap bleeding through. You can see those two sap pockets I picked out over there. It's very sappy. There's a bunch of knots in it, obviously. This is spruce. It's about as nasty as shit as you can cut. And this is coming out pretty flat. You can tell that the grain orientation, I'm not exactly paralleling the grain. So if you see that I'm in the pith, like right dead, almost dead center of the pith right there, I guarantee I'm not down the other end. So you can tell by some of the raggediness that I'm cutting across the grain in that respect, I think. So actually it's not that far off. It's only 3/4 of an inch off. So it's not that bad, but I'm not cutting exactly parallel to the grain, which does, I think that's what's leaving some of that raggedy cut. But we'll burn through it with this one, and I will listen to it, and I will try to go what the blade tells me to go for speed, and then we'll check out the cut. So we're going to back her up. We'll run the same water, we'll run the same tension, and we'll see what we get. sure if you saw what happened there, but what happened there was I came down to double check my height, and I set that guide down on top of the log, and I think I pushed it. I think I moved it, so I'm going to double check it. So we'll do that right now. Actually, I'll get you this view here. We're just going to double check that guide really quick. You can have a couple tools. The reason I think I moved it is when I went and set the blade down on the log, after I got the thing pulled out, this side was up and it's tight in here, so it's definitely not right. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this part, and we're going to get it square. We're going to let it fall down. I assume it's going to drop down. Let me get you guys so you can see what happens here. This is what you got to pay attention to. So I assume what's going to happen when I loosen this nut right here, this guide's going to drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten this thing down. I'm going to tighten it down so that it's square. I'm going to put my other glasses on really quick. Tighten it down so it's square. Actually, it's really good right there. If I keep it there, that would be great. I don't know. I don't have high hopes it'll stay there. Trying to twist. Flat. There you go. A little crooked. Just readjust the guide itself. Feels like there's still some up pressure on it. Huh. There's a possibility that it was the other I was wrong on the other band too. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, everything's good. Just tighten these ceramics a little bit and we're good to roll. Okay. It's back in here. Oh, son of a bitch. All right, back you up and we'll go at it again. Try it one more time here. Get you over here so you can kind of see speed of cut. Hopefully everything goes good. Initial impression is overall that felt way better. That felt nice and smooth. It cut faster. Let's take a look at what we did. There's way less chatter. Way less chatter. I felt like I was pushing it faster. Get you guys a good look. It felt overall like that band cut way better. Still sap. I'll get a stick and show you guys these sap pockets. Holy crap. Dude, cut way better. No comparison. And I thought this was going to be a lot of log with that horsepower. It's not. See that one little chatter mark right there? There's one little chatter mark around that. Other than that, look at how smooth it cut through here. So this is all sap. These are deep sap pockets, all full of sap. I'm not going to fuck my glove, but I can just promise you that's what those are. These are all sap pockets. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Those are all sap pockets. Look at how smooth it cut through here. A couple of chatter marks around this thing right here. Speed of cut, I don't think there was a comparison. I think that just seemed like I could have gone faster if I wanted to. Seemed like it was loading up pretty good in the beginning, but it cut nice and smooth. This sap here, sap pocket here, sap pocket here, sap pocket here, little sap pocket here. So I mean, this is nasty, pitchy shit, guys. That did a really nice job. So I'm gonna take my initial comments back about that I didn't think those bands were that good. Let's take a look down. I'll take you out of the holder. We'll take a look down the log and see how flat it cut. Best of our eyesight line here. So, I mean, it did a relatively pretty flat job overall, guys. I mean, really, I can see some little dinky waves in it. There's one back about where my finger is right there. There's a little dip right there. But over that, other than that, it did a pretty good freaking job on something that's that wide and that big and that sappy and spruce. So, yeah. I'm going to continue to go with the Turbo 7s for now. Until I use them up, I have to reprofile. Hold on. I've only got a few of the Sabertooths left. I don't know, like 5. I've got like over 10 of the Woodmiser bands left, so I'm going to keep cutting with those. I got to reprofile my sharpen and rock for that profile a little bit. It's not very much, it's just a teeny little bit, but I think I'm going to continue to run these. This is a pretty tough cut for this build. You know, it's wide, it's almost as wide as the mill will clear. It's sappy, it's spruce. You know, it is what it is. You say what you want, but you know, liars can figure, figures don't lie. I realized that other band wasn't brand spanking new, but that band went through it easily as good as the Sabertooth when it was new. So you guys can probably see, I hope you can see when I'm cutting, you can see the outfeed shoot and how much it's clearing, so you can tell how it's cutting too. If you guys want, hit me up with some comments about that, about what you saw in the video, and I'll watch it back later. But yeah, so I'm going to flip this thing, get these 2 slabs stickered and stacked, and flip this thing over and finish it off. And that's going to pretty much call it a day. I got to get ready to go out of town. I'm going out of town for a week up to New Hampshire to a timber frame that my friend built that I went up and helped with last year for a month. I got to go up there and do some site work for him. He's renting a track machine for me to use, and I got to go up there and run it for a week and do all the site work. So they don't really like me videoing up there, so we'll see how much video I can shoot. Or if you follow me on Facebook, I'll post some pictures, whatever I can get away with, because They kind of like their privacy and don't really want to be on video very much. So I'm sure I'll shoot some live videos at night after I'm done, when I'm just sitting around having a drink or something like that. So hope you guys are still having a great day, and stay at it, keep cutting, stay safe. I hope you learned something. I hope I learned something. I learned something today for sure, and I'm going to keep running these Turbo 7s a little bit and really get a better feel for them. So, you know, this kind of log, the 7 degrees should be perfect pitch wise. You wouldn't want to run a 10 in this with 18 horsepower. That would be way too aggressive. And unless it's hardwood, I wouldn't go down to a 4. So 7 degrees, kind of the sweet spot. This is about the right geometry for this. The difference between those two bands could be that the gullets are so much deeper on the Turbo 7s than on the Sabertooth, that Turbo 7 is able to absorb more cut because it's not loading up as much. That's my guess. That's my guess. That's what I think is going on here. I think the Turbo 7's clearing easier. So, yeah. You know, as far as longevity goes, I don't know. I did run a Turbo. I ran a Turbo 7 on some white oak last week, 2 weeks ago, and I ran it pretty hard, ran it down to where it wasn't even cutting anymore. Well, it was still cutting, but it was starting to get dull. I switched it out, and then it was in my pack, and I had to finish a cut on a log I hit I had to finish the cut on the Phillips head screwdriver log, and I put that Turbo 7 on to finish the cut because I said, oh, this one's pretty dull, so let me just finish this cut in case there's any more metal. And it wouldn't even cut at all. It wouldn't even go into the wood. I've never seen that with the Sabertooth. Even the Sabertooth, after I hit metal, keeps cutting. This Turbo 7 was so dull, it would not even cut. I mean, just against wood, would not even go. So I don't know what the longevity is going to be like. We'll see. But I hope you guys have a great day, and hopefully I'll talk to you next week.